Welcome back to the Red Slayer Rides. I'm your host Connor, and today I will be putting together my top 10 coaster layouts. Now, I have only ridden 75 coasters, so if your favorite coaster layout is not on here, I apologize. And again, this is my personal opinion, so do not shout at me in the comments. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Number 10, saw the ride at Thorpe Park. This ride is great. It's themed to the Saw movies. For a 9-year-old me, it was terrifying, and I liked it. It has a beyond vertical drop of 100 degrees, which when it opened, it was casually the steepest drop in the world. You know, nothing much. The theming's really good, but we're not here to talk about the theming. That will be in my Saw the Ride review. But the layout, though. The layout's just good. It has an Immelman, an inversion I forgot, towards the end, and a barrel roll. And yeah, this ride's great. And also, Billy does this. Oh, I like that sound. That's the sound of you about to go up a vertical lift hill and down that 100-degree drop. It's great. This ride just overall has a really good layout. It has a barrel roll indoors, an almost vertical drop, a beyond vertical drop, a vertical lift hill, a Immelman, a element that I don't know, an overbank, and a bunch of other stuff, like an airtime hill. And again, the theming's great. Overall, saw the ride. Good layout. I give it a 7 out of 10 on layouts. I was struggling to find another ride that had a layout because I had 9 rides ready for this list and I couldn't think of another one. So I came up with Saw the Ride. And yeah, that's why it's on the list. Sorry. But I had to.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
Intimidator 305. What more is there to say about it? It's stupid fast, it's intense, and you feel the speed. It's insane. This ride never lets you down when it comes to speed and intensity. This thing is constantly throwing you like a rag doll back and forth when you go through those high-speed turns. It's just you slamming your neck up against the restraints. That's how insanely intense it is. You can't keep your head straight. And this ride has one of the most unique layouts because you're like 5 feet off the ground for a good 90% of the ride. After you detach from the lift hill, because the 2 airtime hills, they're worthless. They don't give you any airtime. But I mean variety. This ride, it can get repetitive, but I put it on the list because there's nothing else in the world, to my knowledge, like this ride. It's just bananas, and that's why I like it, because it's insane. Now, this is the most intense coaster that I've ridden. I think that's on everybody's list of most intense coasters, but the layout, which is what we're here for, it has variety. Saw's layout had probably more variety, but this ride has a better layout. That's why I'm giving it the edge. Still not very high on the list, but it has a better layout. You start off with a 305-foot tall lift hill, you drop down, you take this insanely high-speed turn, and then you fly back up into a hill going underneath the lift hill. And then you dive down, do some of the insanely, I don't know the word for it. Like, cutty? That's not a word. Intense, that's the word. Intense switchback turns. Just go left to right, left to right, left to right, insanely fast. And then you have these 2 random airtime hills in the middle of the ride, which I don't understand. They put trims on it, so no airtime. Is this Intimidator 305? Well, no. But they did reprofile the hill, so I guess it's Intimidator 305? Yeah, that's the name for it. Yeah, but this ride has a really good layout, and I respect this ride. On to number 8.
Initiating gamma exposure. Clear levels. Hulk mutations rising rapidly. Enjoy the ride.
Well done, Universal Studios Islands of Adventure, for making this beautiful ride. The Incredible Hulk is arguably the most intense ride in Florida. Actually, that's a lie, Kumba is. But this ride is one of the most intense rides in Florida. It has a Cobra Roll, 2 corkscrews, 2 vertical loops, and a 0G roll, and a lift hill, and halfway up the lift hill you launch. Fun. The 0G roll is insanely whippy, in the back row especially, back row in the wing seat. That's how you get the whip. The vertical loop is good, the Cobra roll is actually kind of snappy, like Alpine Guys, and the corkscrews. The first one's insane, the second one's a little bit of a downer, and then the second vertical loop's meh. Overall, this ride is one of my favorites, and the layout is incredible. Number 7, Cheetah Hunt from Busch Gardens, Tampa, in Tampa Bay, Florida. This ride has a unique layout because you are in the eyes of the cheetah. You are in the body of the cheetah. You are a cheetah when you are on this ride. You feel like one. You're low to the ground, going through the grasslands of Africa, trying to find your prey. And it is so good. There is not another coaster out there, to my knowledge, like this ride. And that's why I love it. It goes up high, especially for that figure 8. And this video for this ride does not do this ride justice. You feel like you're going a lot faster than you are in the video. And I just wanted to say, this video for the ride, it doesn't serve justice. This ride, though, has a really good layout. I respect it for its unique layout, that you're in the place of a cheetah. And I don't know what else to say. It's just really cool. You have one inversion, a barrel roll, and a bunch of low to the ground tight turns. And I love it. Number 6, Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket at the Universal Studios Florida Park. This ride has a super duper unique layout that, to my knowledge, only one other coaster has. But that one other coaster is such a different kind of coaster that they're really not similar. It's a whole different coaster layout, and I'm not gonna talk about that ride because it's all the way over in Universal Studios Japan, so it's not worth talking about. Now, Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket is a very unique ride because it has a lot of brake runs, and I mean a lot. It has way too many, but that's for capacity reasons. Whenever you see these straight sections on the track with these brakes on the track, that's a block brake. Make sure the train behind it can then go. Which, good job Universal for capacity, because these trains only hold 12 people. But still, come on. Vertical lift hill to start, a not vertical drop, or beyond vertical drop. It's like an 89-degree drop. Come on, Universal. And a bunch of bank turns, and it dives through a building, and also at the end it hugs the ground. So, very unique layout. Definitely not the best layout, but it has variety from other coasters. It also has a non-inverting loop, which is cool. Not many coasters have that. And I just think it has a generally unique layout. It's not a very exciting one, but it's unique, so it's on the list. On to number 5. Number 5, Copperheads Strike at Carowinds. My home park pulling in Copperheads Strike in 2019, and this ride opened, and it was a beautiful ride. Top 10 ride in my opinion. The layout is also extremely beautiful. The layout has 2 vertical loops, a stangle dive, a cutback, and JoJo roll right out of the station, plus one up throw and a corkscrew. This ride has some insane elements. Stangle dive, which goes through the first vertical loop, is bananas. You just go flying through it, and it's fun, it's good. I rode this ride on a day where it was 90 degrees outside, so this thing was fired up and ready to roar. And the layout, it's smooth. There's not really any rough sections, mainly because it's a brand new ride, but still, no rough. It's a good check mark in my book. But this ride, overall, the layout, beautiful. The elements, beautiful. And also, you feel like you're gonna fall out of your seat on this ride at all times. The hang time is bonkers, and I love it. So that's why Copperheads Strike comes in at number 5. On to number 4. Good old Nessie at number 4, the Loch Ness Monster at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Just a real quick fun fact, did you know this ride's 41 years old at the time of this recording? So, when you ride this, you can take pride in the fact that you rode a 40-plus-year-old roller coaster. Many coasters do not get to be that age. So, you know what? Good job, Loch Ness. This ride's layout is interesting. It was built, 41 years ago, so, the layout's very old-fashioned. You have a heavily terrain-based coaster here. When it goes into the cave, it's on the side of a hill, and then you drop back down into the ditch where there's water. It's kind of a really big ditch. The water's there, and the interlocking loops. The reason this ride is on the list, at least the main reason, is because of the interlocking loops. This is the only coaster that in the world that has interlocking loops. And they're fun because I wasn't on the ride at this time, but I did see 2 trains went through the interlocking loop at the same time, and they waved at each other, and it was really cool to see that. But this ride's layout is overall strange. It's old. Some of the turns can be janky, but it is special. On to number 3. Again at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, we have Alpine Guys. At number 3, this is Loch Ness Monster's neighbor, which is great. When you're riding either ride, you can see the other, which I just find that a little bit cool that other coasters interact with the visual effect. And this ride has some massive inversions. And it's also the tallest inverted coaster in the world, where you're hanging below the track. Fun. This ride, the inversions are humongous. They tower over the pathways, and it's great. You feel so fast on this thing. And also, you get close to water. And I don't know if I'm weird or something, but I always feel like I'm gonna run into the water. I don't know why. But this ride, massive inversions, massive inverted coaster, a high spot on this list. On to number 2. Welcome back to Carowinds For number 2, Fury 325. This ride is one of the most beautiful and well-crafted rides on the big blue earth. And this ride has one of the most incredible layouts ever. These types of coasters are generally supposed to be either A, low to the ground, or B, high up in the air. And this one does both. It goes over the park entrance. It goes 95 miles per hour, which is insanely fast for a coaster, and I'm lost of words. This ride's just amazing. The layout consists of high banking turns, low banking turns, a one-of-a-kind element, the treble clef, hence the name. That's what it looks like. It's a treble clef. It has this massive helix where then you almost get hit in the face by a support. It's awesome. And there's also airtime, which we all like floating out of our seats due to airtime. But let's get on to the number 1 coaster layout. Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure at Universal Studios Islands of Adventure is number 1 on this list, and for good reason. This ride's layout, there's nothing else like it. There's nothing else like this ride. It has 7 launches, a drop track, a backward spike, a switch track, and you're going backwards, part of the ride. And you can also sit in a motorbike if you want to. This ride has so much variety. And also it's themed to Harry Potter, so that automatically gets a bonus, because Harry Potter is dope. But this ride, there's much more to this ride than on the surface. The thing is, this ride is unreliable. Because if one of them, on this ride, probably millions of sensors goes wrong, it's like bye-bye, and it goes down for the day, or at least until it can get fixed. Because this ride, it has problems. But that doesn't take away from the layout. The layout is insane. How much variety there is. There's so many different elements. It's not intense or anything. It's certainly not the most high thrill coaster in the world. Like, I know on this list there were some other rides that have a pretty high thrill factor, such as Intimidator 305, Fury 325, Alpine Guys. Some of those rides, they have a pretty high thrill factor. This ride, no, this is a family coaster. But it gets number 1 because the layout is marvelous. It's so good. And this ride, it's one of my favorites as well. Though there are coasters on this list I like more than it, this ride's still one of my favorites. This ride, just overall, has one of the greatest layouts I've ever seen. And personally, if I was to ride every single coaster in the world, it would still probably be number 1. But that was it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video. This was Red Slayer Rides, and I'm out.